second presentation this morning, I would like to introduce you an amazing, extraordinary story. Aidea from the Philippines made a big leap some 10 plus years ago into new technologies. And ever since, they've experienced an extraordinary growth trajectory. Let me invite on stage the owner and CEO of the company, Tolentino Jr., Jojo. So Jojo, please stun us with your amazing story.
Thank you, Akos. Good morning, everyone. And before I start, I just want to do a quick survey. How many in the group are architects or consultants? Could you please raise your hand? So it looks like we have more than, I would say, 70% architects. And I guess the rest are contractors, engineers, and other related industries. So my name is Jojo Tolentino. My presentation today is really our journey on BIM. I hope you can find some of the things that we've done interesting, especially for architects. I know that transition to BIM is not easy, and we had our own share of difficulties and also successes in BIM. So first of all, I come from the Philippines. Our company name is Aidea. We started as an architectural practice more than 23 years ago. And we've always seen ourselves as an integrated firm. When we started, the way we thought about integration is really about integrating our design disciplines. We initially had architecture and interior design. Then we had planning and branding. And we said that as a firm, we will always try to integrate our 4 disciplines. But later on, when we came across BIM, we realized that integration should not only happen in design, but integration should also happen with technology. And then we realized that BIM, or on a bigger scale, virtual design and construction, could be our platform for integrated design. A bit of a story about our company. We started in 1995, and our company was caught in the 1997 Asian crisis. And we started really small, 14 people, small dump somewhere in Manila. And in 2001, because we were very aggressively marketing the company and doing good design, we were able to create a sizable client base because of the design work we did. And in 2003, we changed ownership of the company. I had the opportunity to purchase and rename the company as Aidea. And from then on, we started to grow the company. But what we realized is that as we were growing, we were encountering many issues. The issues on productivity, issues on quality, issues on how can we become more competitive and how can we create competitive advantage for our firm. And then in 2005, we said, one of the things we should do is invest in new technologies. And after talking with people, I came across BIM for the first time. It was really having a coffee break with a friend in Singapore. And he said, before you do anything, can you look at this technology? Because I came across this in Europe, and this might be something that Aidea could capitalize and could become a competitive advantage. And of course, I was very young then, so I was foolish. I said, yes, why don't we do that? And we said, okay, let's do the big shift. And we did our shift in 4 stages. Of course, we chose software. We chose between the 2 leading BIM software and went with ArchiCAD. We thought ArchiCAD had the best solution for our service. And then on phase 2, we said, okay, let's prepare. Our difficulty then is we were preparing in an environment where there was no expert in our market. So we thought ArchiCAD or BIM was like AutoCAD. For as long as you can hand draft, you can draw, you can transition to BIM. What we realized is the biggest challenge of BIM is not the hardware, it's not the software, but it's really people and people's mindset. Our biggest attractors are people who are very good in AutoCAD because they were finding the functionality of AutoCAD in BIM, which was, as you know, very difficult. And half of our office was against a transition. Half were bold enough to say, let's try it. And to solve the problem, what we decided is we will choose a day. On this day, we will take out all of our AutoCAD licenses, or for better or for worse, we'll move to BIM. And that day came, and of course, as expected, it was chaos. I was conveniently in Hong Kong when the transition happened. Not by choice. I just happened to have a business there. And I've been getting text messages, phone calls saying, this is difficult, I'm going to miss a deadline. You have to allow us to go back to, to 2D because it's not going to work. But what we said is we will commit to BIM. If you need to remodel everything, go and stay 2 overnights, remodel, so that we can deliver in BIM. And our reason for that is if we give people exemptions to go back to AutoCAD, everybody will ask for an exemption. And before we know it, the transition program will not be successful. And so for about 6 months, our productivity was really low, at as low as 40%. And we had to bear all of that. And what we realized is before the 6 months, we were as productive as AutoCAD. And after the 6 months, we're slowly gaining productivity because of BIM. And then the phase 4, we need to share knowledge. But the way we shared knowledge is we use word of mouth, which wasn't the right way of doing it. And we've made all the mistakes, every mistake you can imagine. From as simple as how to print, we have Print Manager during the time, which was separate from the modeling. The settings were wrong. We almost missed deadlines. So we've learned from our mistakes. And what we realize is learning modeling is not enough. We need to restructure the firm so that our BIM program will be more effective. So I'm not going to go into the details. We, after 1 year, came up with what we call level-up strategies. And what did we do? First of all, the question on BIM manager. We had 1 BIM manager servicing 100+ people. It's not working. We have 7 design studios, and we said, OK, let's assign 1 BIM manager per studio. And that worked, because that gave immediate response, and it also allowed us to identify real-day issues within all of our studios. Second, believe it or not, we started without a BIM manual. And again, we thought it was like AutoCAD. We were naive enough to think that way. And through research, through trial and error, to learning from mistakes, we wrote our own BIM manual. And that's a document that evolved through time, and that's still a growing document. We populate it, we benchmark so that it is in line with the current thinking. Then we did the difficult task of removing anything that is not BIM, including the architect's favorite software called SketchUp. SketchUp was a big struggle for us because many of our architects are so used to it, and so they're saying BIM is not SketchUp. And we asked ourselves, how do we solve an issue of changing SketchUp and offering them something better? And what we realized is just a matter of settings, that we can come up with settings that are better or at least equal than SketchUp, and that solved the problem. Our learning system became digital. We have a digital library. So what we made sure is that the knowledge is not retained in a person, but it's retained in a system. So every time we hire new people, we train them for 2 weeks, and one of the first things they do is go to our setup, our digital library, and that solved our learning problem. It was institutionalized. Then our HR system also got involved. We made sure that all year round we did trainings. We brought experts from Hungary, from Singapore, from all the leading BIM experts, so that we acquired the current thinking. We have a partnership with Graphisoft. We're one of the beta testers in some of the updates, and so that worked for us. And investment-wise, what did we invest for BIM transition? Manpower training, hardware upgrade, software, and also the acceptance that during the transition, we will be less efficient. Now, what did we in the next 2 years, what are the competencies we develop? Of course, from the basic BIM application of making the site analysis digital, we use BIM for energy analysis. When we start BIM at a project, we use a software called Affinity for our design programming, and we're still using it now. And we also, because BIM is not known in the Philippines, we offered them the opportunity of modeling engineering drawings, integrating in our system so that it becomes a full BIM model. We talk about sustainability. We also explored softwares and applied softwares that analyze the sustainability. And we went as far as doing structural modeling. We use Tekla for this. And we use MEP, the BIM's MEP modeler for our A&E integration. And then we also came across Solibri in that 2 years. So Solibri became a very big help for us in our quality assurance system. Up to now, our QA system is heavily embedded in Solibri. When it comes to clash detection, to code checking, we wrote codes for not only our country, but even for codes for other countries, and we were being asked to analyze code compliance for projects overseas. Now, the result of that, in 2 years, we realized that we saved a lot, especially on production time. Concept, schematic, we spent more because we had to set up the design and the BIM so that it's correct. But as we go to the production stage, there were significant savings. Then when we benchmark a typical high-rise project, this is what we normally do, we were saving at least 40% of our manpower because of the efficiency of BIM. And when we look at our growth trajectory as a firm, we've been doing more work, but the trajectory of our staff buildup is significantly less if you look at the curve. So from many points of view, technology helped us grow the company. And what we really wanted is to spend more time designing, do the fun stuff, and I'm not saying that production work is not fun, but making the production work more efficient. Because I'm sure for architects, you realize at least 60% of our fees are burned in production work. So normally what happens is you save enough money for production, which means that you have to allocate less time for design. And what we want to do is reverse it. And so by 2007, we achieved our efficiency goals, and we went on, and what we said is this time we want to integrate. We are looking at other technologies which will allow us not only to create the 4 disciplines that we originally offered, but to also offer technology and technology development as a part of our offering. So whenever we do projects, first thing we ask is how can we apply technology to make this a better design and to make it more efficient. The other thing we realize is because of technology, we now have the opportunity to service clients not only in mainstream design, but also on the front end, the pre-design, and the post-end, which is the post-construction, post-design service, i.e. facilities management and building evaluation. And that created another big income stream for us and became an opportunity for us to do expanded services. So what were those things? A lot of design build contractors called us and said, we'd like you to do LOD 400 modeling for us. All our details are quantifiable, 3D based. We got rid of our 2D library, converted it to 3D to make sure that everything is quantifiable. Design build companies like that because they want to have a handle of cost and procurement early in the project stage, which is what we did for them. And facilities manager also asked us to do update BIM, as-built BIM, as they call it, Edu 500, so that they can better manage their facilities. And what we're also, we also had the opportunity of providing A&E integration not only for our projects, but for very complex projects overseas for other consultants and contractors. A&E integration probably represents 15% additional income for the company. And just to benchmark how our competencies compare with the rest of the world, we also participated in BIM competitions in 2 years. So from Build Qatar Live, and in Singapore, BIM Bus, and also Build London Live, where we won the top prize for this BIM competition. And also for local competitions, this is the Qatar Embassy headquarters that we presented to the Qatar Embassy that won us the award. And then from there, we also looked at new technologies. We said this is the time for us to collaborate globally since we now have the infrastructure. And so most of our overseas projects now are hosted through our servers, but open to our partners overseas through use of the BIM server, through BIM Collab, and recently BIM Cloud. Our mobile collaboration also extended, was also established through BIMX. Many of our clients appreciate the use of BIMX because they can have their projects on demand anywhere, from concept all the way to construction phase. So we created a system where the model is updated regularly, so everyone gets the latest version of the project every time. BIMX is a great tool. BIM for non-BIM people, this is great and they appreciate that. Also, for many of our projects, it went far as digital fabrication, where our BIM models are given to fabricators. They take and manufacture out of the BIM model. And cost estimation, which is a reality in any commercial project, became very important. We always said the fourth dimension of the project is something that has to be started upfront. So working with QS firms, we work on cost estimation applications so that when we design, we know how much it costs, and the client makes informed decisions every time they authorize the project. Okay, so asset management is another area that we have ventured, and also point cloud utilization. We're now doing a lot of this in Scandinavia together with our partner, where a lot of these old buildings are being remodeled, are being documented in 3D through point cloud. And we're now developing an add-on where the point cloud modeling becomes automated. I will show you some of those applications later. Then in 2014, we said, okay, let's go again to the next stage of development, which is what we call strategic innovation. And this is the phase where we asked ourselves, how can we make the process or the workflow more efficient? And we realized that we shouldn't stop with architecture. We should venture into programming. So we created an in-house software development team. The objective is to ask ourselves, which of our process can we automate so that we can spend less time producing and more time designing, and also make projects profitable. So one of the things we created, I'm sure architects will appreciate this, is whenever we design, we created an add-on that automatically gives you planning data from things like areas, efficiency, ratios. These are important because developers always look at these numbers. So this is done as we design, as we do the blocking. Then we said, well, let's do much bigger. Why don't we automate the whole construction documentation process? So in 3 years, we developed this add-on where it creates this construction documentation automatically from a very detailed model. And what used to be a 6-month job became a 1-month job for us, including QA. So this is just a faster version. Actually, it takes a day to generate this from a detailed model, but it creates the whole documentation package automatically, including dimensions, tags. So architects can do what we love to do most, which is the creative part. Okay, so we will release our final version this year of this. And part of that is we said, let's automate anything that has to do with scheduling. So finishing schedule, which no one wants to do, it's all automated. Again, using the a very detailed BIM software. And that's why to us, modeling is very important. We are very, very strict in terms of modeling compliance. We cannot accept even 1% wrong modeling because everything, all data comes from the model. Door schedule is the same. It all comes from a detailed model. So from there, you click, do a few selection, and it will automatically format, update, and set the door schedule on your sheet. Then windows and curtain wall, another big opportunity to automate. So what we like about this is we know this is correct because it's all coordinated and it's all updated and it comes from the model. Our biggest challenge when we did this is how to create a program that will follow the right dimensioning and the right tagging, labeling convention. And this took us a year. But we went there, and also our latest programming is really linking specification to the model. So now, when you put a material in the model, it automatically triggers the system to look for the specification section. And when the model is completed, you click this application, and it automatically binds all the related specification clauses into one document, which is coordinated with the model. So again, that's why models have to be very correct. Otherwise, the specifications will be wrong. But the output is something like this, which is something that you just bind, print, and submit as part of the contract documents. And of course, as I said, quantities are important. In every stage of the project, the quantity surveyor has a different template on how they make cost. We follow that template, set it up in our system, so that at every stage of the project, they get quantities as needed. They can get it by the hour if they want, using this software. Okay. So what was the reason why we did that? If you look at the top part, in conventional design, we spend months documenting. Currently, with their automation, we took out the design development part and we shortened the construction drawings. But still, you see it's about 2 months' work. By the end of the year, our objective is to have very little time spent on construction drawings. Practically, it's just generating the drawings and doing the quality assurance and spend more time doing the fun stuff. Okay, user experience is also important for us because we have to sell the design. And I have to say, despite having digital technology, clients still want to feel, touch the space, want to make sure that they really understand what the space is. And so we are very heavy now on 3D printing, 3D modeling. We use a lot of drone technology to put context and put it in digital form. And 4 years ago, we established a company that ventured into virtual reality. So we have a VR facility in our office in Manila. That's the first in Asia, where we bring clients and let them experience the project. From an ArchiCAD model, we render it, put it in this technology, and they experience that one-to-one scale in our office. The other nice thing about this is it allows us to collaborate virtually because this technology also can be linked to any VR facility, similar VR facility in the world. And so when we talk design, we don't have to be there physically. We can collaborate digitally. We can even use an app in the cell phone, put in the Google Lens, so that you can co-create anywhere in the world. And one of the cool things, and what client really liked, is the idea of gamifying the project. So one of the things we do with some of our clients is to put the project in a game environment, fully controlled, downloadable in their smartphone or their computers. They can earn points, so the Aidea logo are points, but it really allows them to explore the project in human scale. And we're thinking of putting two avatars competing against each other, or avatars driving a car if it's a big project, or using the bike. And they like this because, first of all, it's fun, and second, it's fully user-controlled, and it can be used anywhere. So these are some of the early applications of gamification, which I think is a big opportunity for design. We're doing a couple of casino projects. Our client is asking us to gamify their casino and link it to the actual gaming hall so that people can virtually play anywhere and using what is really happening on the play table. So we're looking at that application as well. But this is quite fun, quite interesting. Tells you how deep the pool is, so you won't drown. Okay, so what is the impact of integration in our business? Because of technology and integration, we were able to invite other partners to join our global design group, which we call A+. And because of technology, we're able to collaborate. So from one firm based in Manila, we now have a network of designers from 60 locations involving 4,700 professionals. Collectively, the firms won 400 awards. And this created a big spread and a big network for the group. We're still looking for partners if they're something interested, especially in Europe and in Africa. We'd like to create a truly global network, but we'd like to invite firms that are like-minded and also firms who accept the fact that we're going to work virtually. Financial growth is the same. Because of the efficiency and because of the spread that we were able to create, we're able to create more business for the firm exponentially. And even our world rankings increased. When we started in 2009, we were number 86 in the world. Now, we're currently number 47 in the world architecture rankings because of the amount of work and the amount of people that we were able to involve and the revenues that we created out of our practice. So looking ahead, what are the things we'd like to venture into? We'd like to do more automation. We'd like to collaborate not only with designers, but with stakeholders in the building industry. And we'd like to ask them, how can we help them make their work better through automation, using our models, our design as the platform? We'd like to virtually co-create. This is the objective of the A+ group. We'd like to do virtual co-creation. It's like crowdsourcing. We don't need to be physically there, face-to-face, for us to collaborate. And with technology, we have the ability to do that through VR, through BIM Collab, through BIM Cloud. And then what we also did is, I just mentioned yesterday with some of the group, we also want to do programming, computational design. And for us to move faster, we adopted a school north of Manila that offers both architecture and computer science. And the idea is for us to merge programming with architecture, develop into a big capability that can not only service us, but service other members of the construction industry globally. Now, all this application, people ask me, where's the fun stuff? Yeah, the fun stuff is design. And what I always tell them is we'd like to do more design, but for us to be able to design more, we have to take care of the back end first, the part that burns our fees. Because if we can optimize, we can spend more time designing. And with digital technology, with BIM, we're able to do 3 things in the office. First of all, we're able to create a design process that is truly aligned to design thinking. We do a lot of research, a lot of empathy, mapping, talk to people. We also did not get rid of our low-tech processes. We still cut foam boards. We still do models. We still work with clay. But after that, we were able to merge it with technology, with VR, so that we can come up with a product that we believe is superior. And the rest is that we were able to integrate everything that the A+ group has to offer, from the branding side to the storytelling, to the design, interiors, and through costing and everything that is really in the end-to-end process of a building life cycle. So what I'm going to show you is an example of how we applied it on the front end. This is a project. This is our competition entry to the new Senate, Philippine Senate building, recently completed. And this is a short film clip on how we were able to merge low-tech, high-tech into something, into an interesting project. Or we're designing something that could possibly be the home of the Senate for the next 100 years. Since this is an institution that represents us as a nation, it should also embody the uniqueness of the Filipino. We ran a survey nationwide to engage the people to co-create the new home of the Senate. We were surprised with the responses we got.
The Senate is supposed to be a chamber imbued with gravitas and a national perspective.
We would like to have a big insecurity in the design.
It should be capable of embracing the people.
Maaliwalas at matiwasay na na building.
Memorable.
Transparency.
Mapagtanggap po.
They want the new home of the Senate to be welcoming, to represent honor and dignity, that will leave a better environment for future generations. The next step for us is to think of a metaphor. What will best represent welcoming, honor and dignity, and sustainability in a form that is uniquely Filipino? If you look at the seal of the Senate, the braids there, the flower represents sampaguita, and that represents honor and dignity. The most elegant way of translating sampaguita to art is through the weave. I have my favorite barong embroiderer. I realized that they could be micro-creators. So what we did is we invited them from Laguna. They stayed and worked closely with our designers and developed patterns and symbolism that best represent the braided sampaguita. We mapped that in our basic building mass and projected it in virtual reality. We were able to create both the formal and informal side. The form of the building, which you can see is a bud of the sampaguita. Our design has considered a very smart way of facing the project so that we save more than 1.5 billion pesos in capital expense. The mechanical systems that we are introducing considers not only the capital expense side, but also how we will operate the building in the next 100 years, because that has a bigger impact in sustainability. There's a message that we'd like the architecture to convey. Like the braids of the sampaguita, we have to work as a nation, each one, the senators, the people, working hand by hand, being bound by one string, and that string is our aspiration for a better country. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jojo. Thank you, Jojo.
Thank you.
You managed to stun us, I guess.
Thank you.